Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, where we bring you the other side of the story. And today's guest is going to be Mr. Roger Stone, who is now a strategic advisor for the provincial Ontario Party, whose leader is former Conservative MP Derek Sloan. I have a full interview coming up with both of them. You're not going to want to miss that at Rebel News, so stay tuned for that. But today, I just wanted to give you guys an update, hear from Mr. Stone about what he's been up to since being pardoned. And I also wanted to ask him about some of the headlines we're seeing in legacy media where he apparently, according to them, said that he was censored on Trump's Truth Social non-censorship platform. And does that mean there is a falling out on their very long ongoing friendship? Before I get to this, if you appreciate the reports we do at Rebel News, bringing you the other side of the story, letting you know about current events, and sometimes even taking legal action to defend freedoms in Canada, you can go to our special website at rebelnews.com/donate to chip in to cover some of our expenses. We don't take a penny from the federal government's media bailout, like over 90% of the news you watch in Canada. We rely completely on generous donations from people like you. Now, here is Mr. Stone. All right, the man, the political legend, Mr. Roger Stone. Thanks for being on Rebel News.
Great to be back with you.
Now, I wanted to just quickly do a quick update for people who don't know that you have set your eyes on Canadian politics, working together with the Ontario Party. We're going to have a full, in-depth report on that. But I wanted to give you a chance to let people be updated on what you've been up to ever since that crazy morning. I think it was 6 a.m, where you were stormed and arrested due to the Russian investigation.
Yeah, I think people around the world were shocked when 29 SWAT-clad M4 fully automatic assault weapon-bearing FBI agents swarmed my home at 6 o'clock in the morning to arrest me for the completely fabricated crime of lying to Congress. If lying to Congress were real, then people would be arrested every day. Dr. Anthony Fauci comes to mind, for example. But interestingly enough, I was arrested at 6:06 in the morning. At 6:11, a producer from CNN texted a copy of my indictment to my attorney. The problem with that is my indictment was sealed by the federal courts until 10:30 that morning. So you might wonder, how is it that CNN had a copy illegally of the charges against me? And then, of course, I underwent 2 years of unmitigated hell in which I was vilified, smeared, threatened, hunted, bankrupted. I lost my home, my car, my savings, my ability to make a living. And I was subjected to a Soviet-style show trial. I was convicted by an all-Democrat jury. I'm a Republican. We learned, of course, that the jury forewoman in my case had been attacking me by name in social media for an entire year prior to her selection for the jury, but had kept those social media postings on Facebook and Twitter on a private setting during jury selection and during my trial, only quietly trying to erase them afterwards. But she got busted. We also learned when BuzzFeed sued the Department of Justice and got access to the final redacted sections of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report, which he admitted that he had never actually found any evidence regarding me and Russian collusion or WikiLeaks collaboration or any other crime. So the truth is, I was criminally charged and bankrupt and pressured in order to squeeze me into bearing false witness against the president. In July of 2019, the prosecutors contacted my lawyers, presented them with a list of 26 cell phone calls between myself and candidate Donald Trump, and offered me a deal in which if I would testify falsely that those phone calls pertained to Russian collusion or WikiLeaks, that they would recommend that I serve no jail time. After much prayer, about 5 minutes, I decided that I would not do that. By the way, I had already passed 3 polygraph tests contradicting that claim. Through the grace of God and this horrific ordeal, Donald Trump had the strength and the courage to give me a full and unconditional pardon because he recognized, first of all, that the charges against me were fabricated, that they were politically motivated, and that I had not been afforded a fair trial. The judge, for example, would not allow me to use evidence of corruption by the prosecutors, the FBI, the Department of Justice, or any member of Congress in my defense. That ruling, of course, is unconstitutional. The integrity of an investigation or an indictment is always grounds for defense, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, unless, of course, you're Roger Stone. The assertion in my indictment that the Russians conducted an online hack of the Democratic National Committee and gave that information to WikiLeaks, for which there is no evidence whatsoever. But the judge denied me the use of expert testimony or forensic evidence to disprove the whole underlying premise of the charges against me. I must tell you, it was a nightmare, but it also led to my redemption in Christ. I reached a point in which I hit rock bottom. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was scared, not about myself, but my wife is 73, extremely hard of hearing. I didn't know how she would support herself or where she would live if I was unfairly incarcerated. And then, frankly, through a chance meeting with Reverend Franklin Graham, who gave me very, very good advice and finally got my attention, I did elect to unload this burden on the Lord. I stood in a field with 300 other Christians. I reaffirmed my faith in Christ. I confessed my sins. And from that moment on, frankly, I was very calm in the eye of the storm. I knew exactly how it would come out. And indeed, through the grace of God, I was given an unconditional pardon. Only later, almost a year later, did we learn in Mueller's final little unredacted secret report that he never had any evidence against me, that the charges against me, in essence, had been fabricated to squeeze me to cooperate, to remember. So today I'm writing a book about this entire experience. It will be my 6th book. I've written a New York Times bestseller, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ, Nixon's Secrets, The Inside Story of Watergate, The Bush Crime Family. See, I'm not just a Republican, I'm an equal opportunity truth teller. The Clintons' War on Women, and then, of course, The Making of the President 2016, How Donald Trump Orchestrated an American Revolution. My next book is entitled Roger Stone Did Nothing Wrong, My Political Prosecution and the Theft of the 2020 Election. I think it's going to be very popular. There's also a documentary in the works with which I am cooperated. It's called The Case Against Roger Stone. I have a feeling it's going to prove that there is no case against Roger Stone. I'm also now hosting a new show every day at 5 o'clock Eastern Time at frankspeech.com. My show is called The Stone Zone with Roger Stone, in which we talk about politics, news, fashion, style, food, all kinds of things. I'm kind of back in the vineyards, back on the ramparts, as it were. Politics is in my blood. Writing about it, talking about it, engaging in it. It is really, it's all I really want to do. After this horrific experience, my children, my grandchildren, some of my closest friends urged me to hang it up. Maybe it was time to just retire and write historical books, but I don't choose to do that. And that's why I'm very excited about being involved with the Ontario Party. What I saw happen in Canada surrounding the Canadian truckers convoy really galvanized me to realize that the fight for freedom is not just going on in this country, it's going on in Canada as well as around the world. So there's kind of a synopsis of what I've been up to.
Well, we're going to have a full report on that and an interview with you and the leader of the Ontario Party, Mr. Derek Sloan. Real quick, because I know a lot of people are wondering this, the legacy media has been plastering apparently you saying that you were censored on Truth Social. Is that true? And has there been a falling out with your longtime friend, Mr. Trump?
Not at all. In fact, this is kind of odd. I put up a historical posting at Truth Social in which I said that Donald Trump, as early as 2000, in his book, The America We Deserve, was a very early critic about the dangers of Islamic extremism. For some reason, for about 12 hours, that tweet was censored, means it has a screen over it telling you it is sensitive content. You can then click.
Okay, well, it looks like we ran into some technical difficulties on Mr. Stone's end, and I do know he is on a time crunch. He has to get ready for his show. So I'm going to reach out for a written statement for the rest of the answer to that question. I would love to know if he is still getting along, still friends with Mr. Trump, and I'm sure you guys would too. So if I have that answer, it's already there below you, the magic of technology. In the description box, you can click on the link and go to the full report at rebelnews.com. To keep up to speed with the other side of the story when it comes to political races in Canada, make sure you check out leadershipreports.ca often, and you can chip in a few bucks there to help us cover the costs to bring you those reports. I'm Drea Humphrey, and this is Rebel News.